TomoNews presents... this is fake.
Fake US Border Patrol car found smuggling undocumented migrants. In a win for US Border Patrol, agents last Thursday busted alleged smugglers trying to get 12 undocumented migrants into the United States using a vehicle painted to look exactly like an actual Border Patrol SUV. On December 10, US Customs and Border Protection officers from the Laredo sector near the Texas-Mexico border uncovered an apparent people smuggling operation that had modified a Chevrolet Tahoe to resemble an official Border Patrol vehicle. The cloned SUV, however, was missing the flashing lights used on Border Patrol Tahoes. It also kept the footbar and front bumper which real Border Patrol vehicles don't use, as they're designed to go off-road. Agents noticed the irregularities on the suspect vehicle and pulled it over. Inside, agents discovered a total of 12 people crammed into the back of the counterfeit SUV. The Tahoe had been stripped of all of its rear cabin seating. Border Patrol told KRGV News the discovery is the first cloned Border Patrol unit discovered in recent memory in the Laredo sector.
China knocks off Durex condoms, victims get knocked up. In Taiwan, Mr. Liao was looking to make a quick buck and he knew one rule about making money: sex sells. So Mr. Liao ordered around 1,000 boxes of cheap knockoff Durex condoms from China. Each box had 12 condoms and cost 50 cents. He then turned around and sold each box for $9 on the internet in Taiwan. An average box of Durex condoms cost $12, so Mr. Liao was earning some good money while his customers thought they were saving a bundle. Unfortunately, buying cheap knockoff condoms is a bad investment. There's that ever-growing list of STDs to worry about, and then there's always the most expensive snafu, making a kid. Mr. Liao's customers were less than pleased, and eventually police caught wind of his scheme. They arrested Mr. Liao for selling knockoff brand goods. Mr. Liao said he'd sold about 100 boxes, if not more. So police warned local fornicators that the knockoff brand of Durex condoms have lighter colored packaging. Also, the condoms break quite easily, as this officer demonstrates with a quick flick of his wrist. So don't be cheap when it comes to wrapping your junk. Don't be a cheap date.
This pregnant panhandler is probably richer than you. Melissa Smith of San Diego had noticed a pregnant woman and her young son begging outside Eastlake Village Center over the past couple of weeks. Smith felt sad for the poor pregnant panhandler until one day she observed the beggar getting into a Benz. Unsure what was going on, Smith followed the Benz, and looking into the vehicle, it quickly became clear the driver and the panhandler were a couple. A few days later, an angry Smith observed the pregnant panhandler get out of the Benz and walk over to the same begging spot. Now, even angrier, Smith tailed the car again and watched as it pulled up to an upscale apartment complex. Smith then sent the car's plate number to a TV station, which found it was registered to an address at the apartment complex where rent is $2,500 a month. Busted! Looks like this pregnant, or is she, beggar is gonna need a new line of work.
Teenage Doogie Howser wannabe busted after posing as a licensed doctor. South Florida law enforcement arrested a local teenager Tuesday for practicing medicine without a license. Oh, kids these days. Authorities say an undercover agent posed as a patient to seek advice from the faux quack named, no joke, Dr. Malachi A. Love Robinson. The 18-year-old's practice, the New Birth, New Life Medical Center and Urgent Care, was opened sometime before February 4th. The clinic's website says it provides a personalized, high-quality, holistic, and alternative medical care on an as-needed or preventative basis, whatever that means. Love Robinson's online bio said he utilizes physiological, psychological, and mechanical methods such as air, water, light, heat, and earth. But the bio skipped the part about how all his amazing medical powers were obtained without a Department of Health medical license. It claimed he also provides natural medicines, natural processed foods, herbs, and nature's remedies, all minus those pesky 5 years of medical school. According to a certificate posted on Facebook, he became a certified alternative medical practitioner and a holistic health practitioner last October. But certified or not, the jig was up after he allegedly performed a medical exam on an undercover agent. Come on, kid, you're no Doogie Howser. Love Robinson was charged with practicing medicine without a license and was booked into the Palm Beach County Jail. Would you have let Love Robinson examine you, or would you have sent this fake doc quacking?
How far are you willing to go for a slightly discounted donut? Charles Chuck Berry from Pasco County, Florida, pretended to be a U.S. Marshal in order to get a 10% discount at Dunkin' Donuts. He hatched the idea when the drive-thru guy wouldn't give him slightly discounted donuts. So, Berry flashed an invalid New Jersey police badge and a real gun and finally received discounted donuts. Intoxicated by success and donut jelly, Mr. Chuck Berry became even bolder. He returned with numerous family members and claimed to be an air marshal this time. That's when the manager at Dunkin' Donuts got an actual cop to talk to Chuck Berry. Now he's been charged with impersonating an officer and crying like a little weenie. Chuck Berry was released on bail on Wednesday, November 13th, and for the record, Pasco County Sheriff Nako says that discount donuts for cops isn't a real thing.
Thief claims to be sent by Jesus Christ when spotted by victim. A woman reported to police that she'd been robbed in the middle of the night by a messenger of Jesus Christ. The woman said she had awoken in the middle of the night and saw a man standing next to her bed. He told her he was just a messenger sent by Jesus to look over her while she slept. That's not creepy. In her sleep-addled state, the woman did just that, closed her eyes and went back to dreamland. The next morning, she discovered that her digital camera was missing along with $600 from her purse. She reported the theft to police, who were able to see the man on a video from her building's CCTV camera. The police speculate the man must have climbed in through a window, but even they couldn't resist asking the woman, how on earth did she believe that pack of lies about being sent by Jesus?
Fake U.S. Embassy in Ghana stayed open for a decade. The U.S. State Department recently uncovered a criminal operation in Ghana that had been passing off a ramshackle building in the capital as America's official embassy. The sham embassy was housed in a battered pink building with a U.S. flag. With white people manning the inside and a photo of Obama on the wall, most assumed it was legit. In reality, the consular officers were Turkish and in cahoots with the Ghanaian crime rings. Instead of getting clients from nearby, they advertised via flyers and billboards to customers in remote parts of West Africa. Clients were shuttled to the city, booked at a nearby hotel, and taken to and from the fake embassy. Walk-ins were not accepted. For a fee of $6,000, applicants could be issued fraudulently obtained but legitimate U.S. visas, or any other false identification documents they needed. The scheme went on for a decade until folks from the real U.S. Embassy caught on, leading to the arrest of several suspects in a police raid. More than 100 passports, legitimate and counterfeit visas and documents were found in the investigation, along with the discovery of another fake embassy, this one Dutch.
The Chicago Cubs are hoping to shut down two men who they say are exploiting their team and their fans. Chicago Cubs sue fake Mascot after complaints from fans. In a lawsuit filed on Friday, the team said John Paul Weir and Patrick Weir show up to games in a fake costume, misleading fans who are excited to meet the team's real mascot, Clark the Cub. The imposter mascot, Billy Cub, asks fans for tips in exchange for photos. There have even been cases where Billy Cub has used racial slurs and other derogatory remarks towards fans, the lawsuit claims. Billy Cub was also caught on video in a bar, punching a man for taking off his bare head. The video went viral, with several media outlets incorrectly reporting the official Cubs mascot was involved. The suit also accuses the men of running several online businesses, selling knockoff Cubs-affiliated merchandise. The Chicago Cubs are seeking an unspecified amount of money in damages and legal fees, in addition to all of the profits the defendants have made from the character.
Mukomachi police arrested a drunk taxi driver in his 60s on Saturday for violating Japan's firearm and sword possession control law. The man had proclaimed himself to be the bodyguard, a character in the Japanese movie Yojimbo, and was waving an imitation sword at a convenience store that had recently been robbed. Two men robbed the store of 50,000 yen, $500 at knife point early on December 23rd and are still at large. Several days later, the drunk taxi driver showed up at the store and yelled at the clerk, saying that the head of security had arrived to guard the store. "I'm the best bodyguard in Japan," he added. "I'll fight the robbers and protect the store." He also boasted that no one could defeat him except for Japanese swordsman Miyamoto Musashi. This went on for 10 minutes. He then unsheathed his sword shortly after saying he'd cut the robbers' heads off if they dared show their faces. The drunk suspect stood guard at the store with his sword while noting that it was the most dangerous time of the day. The clerk called police and the taxi driver was arrested on suspicion of violating Japan's firearm and sword possession control law.
New Jersey authorities have cracked down on bars and restaurants serving fake alcohol to patrons after an investigation revealed some disgusting findings. The year-long sting, codenamed Operation Swill, discovered dozens of businesses have been serving bogus booze. Some even sold rubbing alcohol and caramel coloring as whiskey, spiking both drinks and profits. Others had passed off tap and dirty river water as alcohol for mixed drinks. Undercover officers with the Division of Alcoholic Beverage Control secretly took samples before conducting raids on 29 businesses across the state. Among the restaurants raided were 13 different TGI Fridays franchises, all operated by the Bryad Group. Rubbing alcohol, additives, tainted water. Maybe this explains New Jersey people's brain damage.
Fake lawyer charged with fraud against clients, including his own wife.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is irrefutable evidence that the defendant is in fact lying.
A 44-year-old Taiwanese man with just a degree from a local vocational and technical high school managed to somehow work as a practicing attorney for 13 years before being busted. The man, identified only by his surname Yu, pretended to work at the Chiayi District Prosecutor's office. His fake identity and silver tongue managed to win him a wife with whom he had a child. Each time his wife quizzed him about his work, he would show her around the office building and grab a meal with his colleagues. She didn't discover he was a sham until they had already been married for 3 years. The unidentified wife went ballistic and demanded a divorce. Yu had co-founded his law office with his friends. He charged one client more than $1,500 for a case, but then failed to do the required work. When the client lodged a claim against Yu, investigators discovered he was a fraud. They found he had made around $45,000 deceiving his clients for years. Yu and his accomplices have since been charged with fraud.
Banknote scam again in Moroika City, Iwate Prefecture. A supermarket in Moroika City, Japan, reported to police that a fake 1 million yen note that would add up to $10,000 was disguised to look like a 10,000 yen or $100 bill was found in a cash register. Police are treating the case as fraud. The suspect reportedly paid with a fake note that had a strange image of Fukuzawa Yukichi, who normally does not smile on a normal bill. Then he received more than 8,000 yen in change. As soon as the salesperson found the fake 1 million yen note, the police were called in to investigate the fraud. 2 high school students were arrested on November 4th for exchanging the same fake note in Osaka. Another man was also busted for allegedly swindling money at a convenience store in downtown Nagoya last October. Police arrested 5 Iranian thieves dressed like police officers on Thursday who had been robbing tourists on highways in northern Italy. The thieves would show fake police badges to tourists entering rest stops. The imposters would ask for money and car keys, pretending to inspect the car. They would then tell tourists the authenticity of the bills needed to be checked, after which they would walk away. Police caught the thieves while they were attempting one of their robberies at a highway rest stop near Rovato. After seeing the police, the thieves attempted to flee and struck a police officer, slightly injuring him. The robbers made it through a Rovato highway toll booth before a police officer shot the radiator out, bringing their vehicle to a stop. Police have found more than 10,000 euros, 10,000 Swiss francs, Albanian driving licenses, fake Spanish residence permits, and 4 cars used by the thieves during their heists.